Welcome to the American Roundtable. I'm Al Spry.
Hi, I'm Drea.
Drea, it's so great to have you here. We're talking politics, baby. That's what we do here on the American Roundtable on Tough TV and Tough TV 38. We like to call it politics as unusual. What do you think about that one?
It is unusual.
Well, let's start with, of course, some things we're going to talk about on today's show, including the big Obamacare repeal vote. How did it go? Why did it go that way? We'll be talking about that. Also, Venezuela. You want to talk about some problems. Venezuela's got them. And the McDonald's that basically didn't want to serve a police officer. What do you think of that, Drea?
They don't get to decide who they're going to serve.
This is short and sweet. Also, how coffee can make you sexier and younger. That's right, as you hold your cup of Java here on a Saturday morning. This is the American Roundtable here on Tough TV and Tough TV 38. We got a whole great show coming your way. Hi, this is the American Roundtable. Welcome back to the show. This is your look at politics with the beautiful Drea. I don't really need to say anything on the show at this point. We can all just look at Drea. What do you think? Let's give that about 10 seconds. Okay, I'll cut it off for about 5 seconds. I don't want to mesmerize you too much. But let's talk about the 9 Republicans who voted against the Obamacare repeal measure. 9 turncoats, Drea. Why? Why would these Republicans not vote with the Republican Party?
Maybe they did not like the bill.
You know what? They didn't like the bill. You know why? Basically, this bill didn't look like it had a very good path to approval. This is hitting the Senate, known as the Better Care Reconciliation Act. But where's the better care coming from? They haven't even put it in place yet, but they're going to take all the benefits away from people that already need it and have it. I don't think it's such a good idea. I think you should at least have something to replace into. But this was a big hurdle. You had conservative Republicans who were voting for it. You had, of course, more moderate Republicans like Senators Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, along with conservatives also like Rand Paul and Mike Lee. What's going to be more votes, of course, on repealing Obamacare. It seems to be the only thing the Republicans are focused on at this point is repealing Obamacare. I guess this is number one. So if you're using Obamacare and you're getting something out of it, you may want to write your congressman or your senator. Is it an imperfect bill and rollout? I think so. I think there's a lot of people paying way too much for the care that they're getting. And I think if you're going to do something with care, I think it should be along an even route. If some people are getting it for free, well, then we should all get it for free. Why do some people have to pay $1,000 a month for care? It's absolutely absurd, isn't it?
It is, but it's not free, so somebody has to pay.
Somebody's paying. But middle-class people are paying $1,000 a month. Poor people are paying nothing. Rich people are paying, I don't know, I don't think they're paying much either because they've got their own loopholes.
They just don't have health care.
So, but no, everybody has health care. That's the thing. You have to have health care. That's the whole point.
Not everyone does it.
It's true. This is a problem.
They're saying that it's not worth it. They'd rather take the penalty than have to pay the premium. I would. If the premiums are $1,000, I'll take the $1,000 a year penalty.
Well, of course. You save $11,000 that way. Just take your chances. But I don't think that's the way it should be designed. I think we should all have access to health care. I think that's kind of an important thing to have, you know, because everyone's human. We're all going to have health needs. Why do people have to then worry about breaking the bank so that they have their health care covered?
Everybody should have to pay the same amount.
Yeah, I mean, there are other countries that successfully do single-payer health care. I think that should be a priority for the United States. We spend enough on military. We spend enough on wars. Let's spend some on the United States citizens. This is the American Roundtable. More in a moment.
Hi, this is Drea, and this is the American Roundtable. So Venezuela, we're going to talk about Venezuela, but first we have a clip from Fox News.
News developing out of this, and there is major news in Venezuela. Some pictures just coming into us. It's been another day of horrible violence there. A Venezuelan military police sergeant shot dead a protester who was attacking the perimeter of an air base on Thursday. Just yesterday. The Interior Minister is giving us this word, bringing the renewed security of the force scrutiny on the force used to control riots that have killed at least 76 people. Hundreds of thousands have been marching in the streets in the recent months, protesting the economic situation across Venezuela. Many people cannot get food. They are not allowed to enter or leave the country. Very close to a martial law situation there, and certainly the people are rising up in protest against the government and all that it has done. to the people. These are live pictures that are coming into us. Anybody have any context on these pictures? We know that these are coming to us out of Caracas, and that people have been out on the streets throughout the day, as they have been in recent days. You can see some fires set there on the back end of that. And lawlessness abounds with actually the government forbidding people to travel in any way. Getting money out of a bank is almost impossible. Food and other essentials hard to come by. And we're told that the medical situation is deteriorating as well. A country that was so rich with energy wealth, so corrupt now, and the people left to fend for themselves largely. And this situation expected to get worse before it gets better.
Well, that was some clip, Drea. That kind of spells it out. It looks like all hell is breaking loose in Venezuela.
It is.
You remember, of course, we used to talk a lot about Venezuela in the news before Trump and Russia and all this other stuff that they talk about now, Obamacare. We used to talk about Venezuela and how the socialist system was being run by a dictator. This guy was like a dictator.
Oh, Mr. Free Insurance. The socialist system does not work.
Exactly.
Pay your health care too.
And so Chavez is dead now, right? That's the guy who came in.
How is this guy worse than him?
This guy Maduro is actually worse than Chavez. A lot of it has to do with the fact that oil is not $100 a barrel anymore. It's like $45 a barrel. So all this, you got to remember about Venezuela, as you know, Drea, they have the largest oil reserves in the world. Why you can't turn the largest oil reserves into the world into the most prosperous economy? How does Dubai do it? Dubai is in the desert, but they're oil powered. So if they could do it, what's going on in Venezuela? What do you think?
It is bad leadership.
Corruption.
Yeah, and they need...
Everyone's taking the money. It ain't getting to the people. That's why. And now the people, you want to talk about 700%, 200% inflation? They think it'll be up to a 700 to 1,000% inflation by the end of the year. People are jumping out of windows. Mass demonstrations. People are getting shot. We have a deep recession there. One could call it a depression. Food and medicine shortages. A humanitarian crisis in Venezuela. Why are we not hearing more about this? Why are we hearing it on the American Roundtable? Besides the fact we rock.
Well, because Russia.
Because Russia. I can see Russia from my house.
As far as Venezuela, though, it's time these people, they have to solve their own country's problems. One of our biggest problems are we keep trying to solve other people's problems. So I think that the Venezuelan people need to get this government out of there. Get
I think they do.
They need more of a business guy, maybe, a Rick Perry type of thing. Because at least he knows oil and how to market it. Because even at $45 a barrel, whatever the problem is, there's no way they shouldn't be prospering.
Well, this is the American Roundtable. We'll have more for you after this. Welcome back to the American Roundtable on Tough TV and Tough TV 38. This is an interesting story, Drea Dahl. This is a story about a law enforcement officer who was refused service at a McDonald's. Let's take a listen to the report.
A police officer disrespected at a McDonald's when one of the workers refused to serve him. That employee has now been fired.
But Officer Scott Knapp's wife was so upset, she went to Facebook and posted a big story about it, and that online support was overwhelming. And Kathy Knapp joins us right now from Richmond, Virginia. Kathy, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, so your husband, he's in his uniform. He goes up to McDonald's. He orders his lunch. He gets to the window, and the young man who was going to give him the sack of food looked out, saw your husband, and did what?
And he became very animated in the front of the restaurant, in front of the counter, and began mouthing something to my husband. My husband could not understand what he was saying. Finally, the young man came over to the window and opened the window and said, "I ain't serving no police." And my husband, of course, was shocked and said, "I'm sorry, what did you say?" And he said, "I ain't serving no police." And he closed the window on my husband and stepped away from the window.
So how'd he get his food?
Well, when the young man went back towards the counter area, he was very lively, very animated towards the people towards the kitchen of the restaurant. And people who were working in the restaurant were peeking around the corner, staring at my husband, making just making him feel very humiliated, I believe, at that point. And so finally, one of what seemed to be a cook from the back of the restaurant came around to the window and handed him his food. And my husband said thank you, but not much of a response was given after that.
It's unbelievable how our society and the culture has totally changed. We did reach out to the restaurant. The franchise owner says, we regret the situation as it goes against our standards of providing a welcoming experience to everyone. And we have taken the appropriate action to resolve this situation. So the employee has been fired. Is that satisfactory enough for you?
Well, for my husband and for myself, the last thing in the world we want to see is someone lose their job. We live in a world where being employed is so important. And so for him to lose his job, of course, is very disheartening. Right. We would really like to see some of the appropriate action being taken from McDonald's in working with their training programs and working with their hiring practices to ensure that anyone who comes to one of their stores is treated with the utmost respect.
Kathy, will your husband ever go to McDonald's again?
Well, that's the hard part, because as we know, there are so many great franchise owners that are out there who are working with their employees on a daily basis to teach them the customer service skills that they need. They're teaching them the behaviors they want them to see. And so, I guess that's up for us to make that decision in the future.
Well, they've got really good fries. Just saying.
They really do. I'm sorry that your husband had this experience.
Terrible.
Please thank him on our behalf. We appreciate what he does.
Well, there you go. You have a police officer, a uniformed officer. Yes, granted, he was with the Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries, but he paid for his food. He went up to the second window. All he wanted was his McNuggets. Can you blame the man? They're pretty tasty, right? And then the young man working at the window looked at him, backed away from the window in some kind of horror, mouthing something to the officer. Of course, the window's closed. You can't hear with his mouth. Naff was unable to hear what the employee was saying. Once the employee opened it, the guy finally walked to the window, slid it open. My husband told him he couldn't hear him. The guy said, "I ain't serving no police," and closed the window. The guy, you're kidding, of course, Drea doll, including the manager, that he was not going to serve the police. There's a lot of people that talk like that. It's called lack of education.
He's at McDonald's. He just has to serve who he has to serve. That's,
Some people can't handle an easy task. I think it's reprehensible, and I'm sure the guy no longer has a job at McDonald's.
So now their sign needs to say 1 billion burgers served, but not yours.
Yeah. But anyway, this is a strange story. I think we should be respectful to all of our law enforcement officers.
It's bad enough he had to eat McDonald's.
Exactly. They don't make a lot of money, and they have to put themselves in harm's way. This is American Roundtable. More in a moment. Welcome back to the American Roundtable on Tough TV and Tough TV 38. We like to look at politics, as you know, across the country. This is a national network and a national show. However, sometimes we like to take a look at how things can help your health, other topics like that. This is some really good news about coffee. I happen to drink a lot of coffee, as you can tell. Drea Dahl here drinks quite a bit of coffee, as you can tell. We like our coffee. Here's something that you didn't know about coffee. It's courtesy of our friends at AARP. Coffee may help protect older people against inflammation, the underlying process for many age-related diseases, which can help keep you younger, and it can make you look better, plumps out your skin, makes you look sexier. What's not to say about coffee? It's almost as good as bacon, isn't it, Drea Dahl?
I definitely agree. I love coffee. I think those other things.
In fact, the more caffeine older people took in, the more they protected themselves against chronic inflammation, according to David Furman, the study's lead author. This is an author in the Stanford Press. They published in the journal Nature Medicine. Older people whose bodies had low levels of inflammation shared other common characteristics: coffee consumption. As you know, inflammation is a killer. You don't want inflammation. You want everything to kind of stay non-inflamed, if you know what I'm saying. That's why stress kills you, because it creates cortisol, it creates an inflammation response in the body. More than 90% of age-related diseases, including diabetes, hypertension, joint problems, Alzheimer's, many types of cancer, have chronic inflammation at their core. Another fantastic anti-inflammatory agent, by the way, just as an aside, is marijuana, where it's legal in your state or your country, you can be assured that it is the greatest anti-inflammatory medication known to man. This is actually a true story. So if you drink coffee,
smoke a doobie,
then you will protect yourself, and you could probably live to be 100, I would say. At least that's according to some.
And look good while you're doing it.
Well, we look good.
Yeah.
And you know what?
It's the coffee.
It's the coffee. That's
And,
what it is. People who drank 5 cups of coffee daily, an amount that some might consider excessive, showed extremely low levels of activity in the gene pathways that control the inflammation. So, again, not only is it drinking coffee, but it's the amount of coffee you drink. Now, here's a caveat. Drinking coffee closes the blood vessels. So you can actually have, you drink too much coffee, you can have heart palpitations and possibly even something worse. So before you start drinking 5 cups of coffee a day, we think you should consult your doctor. I drink 3 cups of coffee a day. To me, that's more than fine, and I end up feeling fine without being too wired. Well, some final thoughts on aliens right here on the American Roundtable. Welcome back to the American Roundtable, Drea Dahl. You have a beautiful smile today.
Thank you.
A former NASA engineer at the Ames Research Center claims aliens are in our solar system and are creating rings around planets like Saturn. Dr. Norman Berggren, who previously worked at NASA's Ames Research Centers, recently made comments that UFOs are hiding in the rings of Saturn. According to conspiracy theory channel Secure Team 10, which obtained Berggren's comments, the alien ships have been here for some time. Quote, alien spacecraft are proliferating in our solar system and around these ring planets, Berggren is quoted as saying on the video. Berggren also noted the aircraft are by the other ring planets in the solar system, including Jupiter and your favorite.
Uranus.
Below is, of course, they show a little video, and then Secure Team 10, which has nearly 900,000 YouTube subscribers, often runs conspiracy theory-based videos. Now, this guy also wrote a book in 1986 called Ringmakers of Saturn. He's been pushing this Ringmakers and Saturn thing for, I think, quite a while, it looks like to me. But if there's supposed to be these aliens making rings, we had the Voyager go by, it took all these pictures of Saturn. Why didn't we see aliens making rings?
I saw a bunch of rocks. I saw those pictures.
Yeah, you saw rocks.
Yeah.
I saw rocks, ice
And
crystals.
I think that if, the aliens are out there, but they're smarter, they're not just going to go in circles around Jupiter.
Yeah, why would they just spend all their time?
Those crap things.
They are. You mean they're infiltrating the Chinese and making bad products?
No, they're making crop circles. You don't want to.
Oh, crop circles. I thought you said a different word.
No.
So you think that aliens are actually making these crop circles?
Well, yeah.
I saw it was a guy with like a big thing on his feet, and they were tamping it down because
So you can't be everywhere.
Yeah, but the farmers get bored. I don't know. I'm a believe it when I see it guy. Yes, with the amount of suns and solar systems and galaxies in the universe, in the thousands and thousands of galaxies, right? Maybe even millions of galaxies, and each one having millions of solar systems and suns in it. Yeah, good likelihood there are aliens somewhere. But I've always taken the opinion that I'll believe it when I really run into one and go, hey, Fred, how's the third eye? What's up with the fourth finger?
That's the one thing I always wanted to know. Why are the aliens always unfortunate looking?
Well, because they're not here. They're fortunate looking where they are. They probably think we look like horrible.
Yeah, that could mean,
Yeah. Although, personally speaking, I think we look great, especially drinking out all that coffee and everything. This is the American Roundtable. Politics is unusual. I am Al Spry.
I'm Drea Dahl.
So happy to be here on Tough TV and Tough TV 38. Remember to keep it real.
Keep it tough. See you next time. See ya.